All right, builders, welcome. You know that feeling, right? You wrestle with an AI model and it gives you almost what you want, but it's buried inside this messy block of text. So frustrating. Well, today we're going to dive into how you can finally get complete control over your AI outputs. Yeah, I love this quote because it just hits right at the heart of a massive developer pain point. Just think about it. A world with no more nightmare rejects, no more frantic string parsing. That's not just a dream, it's what we're talking about today. Okay, so let's get real for a second. Look at this. On the left, you've got the chaos. That familiar, unpredictable mess of text that these models just love to spit out. It's a total nightmare for automation, impossible to parse reliably. But then, look at the right. That is order. Clean, predictable, perfectly structured JSON. You can plug that straight into any application instantly. This is the transformation we're aiming for. So, how do we get from that chaos to that order? How do we bridge that gap? Well, the answer is a really powerful technique that was designed for exactly this problem. Let's get into the structured solution. So, at the very heart of this is a concept called structure generation. And what it is, it's a method that actually constrains the AI model. So instead of just, asking for some information and kind of hoping for the best, you are literally forcing it to give you valid JSON that perfectly matches a structure, a schema, that you defined beforehand. This is what makes it so safe and incredibly reliable for any automated workflow you can think of. And this is the crucial point, right? Your output is no longer a guessing game. It becomes completely predictable. It's perfectly machine readable every single time. Honestly, this is the key that unlocks true, robust AI-powered automation. Now, this might sound like some kind of magic, but it's not. It's all based on some really clear principles. So let's pop the hood and take a look at what makes this thing tick: schemas and validation. The easiest way to think about a schema is as a blueprint for your data. Seriously. Just like a blueprint tells a construction crew exactly how to build a house, what materials to use, where the walls go, a schema tells the AI model exactly how to structure the data it gives you back. And this blueprint gives you an insane amount of control. For example, you can define strict fields, so you always get a name or an email field, no exceptions. You can use something called enums to force the model to pick from a list of choices you've already approved, like low, medium, or high priority. You can even set default values for when, the information just isn't there. Okay, so right about now, you might be thinking, hey, isn't this kind of like function calling? And it's a great question, so it's really important to know the difference. This table lays it out perfectly. JSON mode, which is what we're focused on, is really for pure data generation, just getting that structured info back. Function calling, on the other hand, is for when you need the AI to actually trigger actions or use external tools. So for what we're doing, JSON mode is way simpler and gives you that direct control over the data structure itself. And here is probably the most important part. The schema you create isn't just a polite suggestion to the model. It's not a request. It is an enforceable rule. The system has built-in validation that absolutely guarantees the output will follow the schema you defined. If for some reason it can't, it'll tell you. No more silent failures. This is huge. Okay, this all sounds great in theory, but where does the rubber actually meet the road? Let's talk about some real-world applications and see how this all comes together to solve actual, everyday problems. And honestly, the use cases are just everywhere. You can instantly process user input from a web form into a perfectly clean database entry. You could generate complex JSON or, say, YAML configuration files on the fly. You could take a messy, unstructured paragraph of text and reliably pull out names, dates, locations. Or you could format data perfectly to call another external API without ever worrying about errors. And really, these 4 areas are just the tip of the iceberg. By solving that common bottleneck, unstructured data, structured generation doesn't just improve the workflows you already have. It completely unlocks new possibilities for automation that maybe you didn't even think were possible before. But to do it right, you gotta have a solid game plan. So you're pumped, you're ready to get started. How do you actually do it right? Let's walk through a few key best practices. Think of this as your builder's blueprint for success. It really boils down to 3 simple keys. First, define clear and specific schemas. Seriously, the better your blueprint, the better the final result. Second, even with the model's guarantee, it's always smart to have a validation step in your own code. Just think of it as trust, but verify. It's how you build truly resilient systems. And third, Treat your schemas like code. Version them. As your application's needs change and evolve over time, so should your schemas. So what's the big takeaway from all this? It's really about building systems you can actually trust. When you put these practices into place, you're not just getting structured data back, you're creating a process that is fundamentally more reliable and, just as important, repeatable.
So, I'm going to leave you with this question. Now that the chaos of unpredictable outputs is gone, now that you have a guarantee of clean, structured data every single time, what new possibilities does that unlock for you? What are you going to build now?